Henrico County Police. He is with he's here to talk to you about the Tempo program, which is Henrico. Well, actually, I'll let him. Anyway, thank you for coming.
Sure, no problem. Coming in?
Sir.
Watch the wire here. Watch the cord.
Hello, gentlemen, ladies. There you go.
All right, well, start out. My name is Marcel Clothier. I'm a sergeant with Henrico Police. And I was asked to come out here and talk to you all about our Tempo, which is our brand name of our policing model. Now, a policing model can be, is usually adopted by a police department as to what kind of philosophy they're going to follow in how they are attacking the issues of crime and public safety in their area. Ours, we've decided to go with an intelligence-led policing. And you know, you'll hear some people say, well, Tempo is Henrico's model of policing, but actually the name Tempo is just it's what it is. It's just our name. It's our brand name for our model, which is an intelligence-led based policing. Tempo stands for Technology Enhanced Modern Policing Operations. And basically we came up with it as a division. Our officers, we put a whole group together, a work group together, and we came up with the brand name, we came up with the logo. We've come up with the entire process. Now, we did not invent intelligence-led policing, but what we did was we took, and I'm not going to bore you with the history of everything, because I know you guys probably want to get into the actual technology, but I'll give you just a little bit of background. Traditionally, police officers, you know, we started out with what they call the traditional model of policing, which is the old-time Norman Rockwell guys walking down the street spinning a baton, and Andy Griffith type things, if you all know who Andy Griffith is. All right, and Mayberry. That's the traditional model of policing. You called, everybody knew everybody. You knew the officer. You called him on the on the wind-up telephone or whatever, and he'd come out and he'd take care of whatever issue it was. Whether if he had to make an arrest, he did, or if Barney had to pull that bullet out of his pocket, he would. All right. The next thing we went to is like a problem-oriented policing, and then community policing. I'm not going to get into each one, but problem-oriented was you went in, you found what the problem exactly was in that area, and you fixed that problem, and you moved on. Kind of like they call it the broken window theory. If you go into a certain area and windows are all broken, if you fix the windows, it makes the area look better, and that kind of keeps going. It builds on upon the other. So you fix the problems, and it actually fixes itself. Community policing is where you go out and you get involved with the community and you ask them for their help, and you basically work together with the community. And intelligence-based policing, our model, Tempo, we have taken the best practices of all those different models or philosophies and put them together. And we use some traditional policing, we use some problem-oriented policing, we use some community policing. And now we're also coming into some other things. One of them would be another acronym called DDAX, which is Data-Driven Approaches to Crime and Traffic Safety, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But we've taken the best practices of all those, merged them all together, we've adopted it, and now we call it Tempo, our brand of policing. So I just want to put that out there. Now, of course, you all are the science, math, technology group, correct? So who cares about all that police stuff, right? You want to get into technology, and I agree with it. If you think about Andy Griffith and Barney back then in the days, they didn't have any technology, all right? They had a gun belt with some handcuffs, maybe a nightstick, maybe and a gun. But policing, we have to keep up with the times just like anybody else does, okay? When technology comes forward, we have to test it, we have to try it out, we have to see if it works for us, and of course we are going to get it if it does work for us. I'm going to start out with just the basics, all right? Myself right here, my uniform, okay? Of course, the clothing looks like regular clothing. However, it is fire-resistant clothing. It is polyester, so I had to make polyester fire-resistant. I don't know. I don't get into any of that. But it is fire-resistant. Okay, our patches and stuff are supposed to resist that in case we do have to go out into a, hopefully we don't go into the burning building, but we do have to make rescues and stuff like that. We get down to my gun belt here. This is where our technology is, all right? This is our bat belt, all right? We got all kinds of stuff on here. So I'll go through some of it. When I first started out 20 years ago, I've been here 20 years in July. So when I first started out 20 years ago, all this stuff was different. Okay, everything that I've got on here now was not what I had back then 20 years ago, all right? starting off with my gun, it's simple. It's just a gun. However, it has been improved upon. When I started out, we were using what was called the 6-hour P220. We had just switched over from a revolver to the 6-hour P220, and now we're up to the Glock. The Glock is a gun which is basically made out of plastic. The only metal parts in it are the inner workings and also the barrel. Okay, if you think about that, it is a plastic gun. All right, that's technology right there. If you can make a gun out of plastic that has little tiny explosions, well, not tiny, but big explosions in it whenever you pull the trigger and the thing still stays together, that's technology right there. Okay, it's coming in, and they're getting more and more advanced every time we look at it. All right, same thing with my magazine that carries my extra bullets. These are plastic. Okay, it's polymer plastic. It's not metal anymore. The old 6 hours was metal, so it cuts down on the weight. It also gives us more capacity for more rounds. Okay, so we actually carry more ammunition. Some people don't like that, but we love it. Okay, because if I'm in a gunfight, I want all the ammo I can get. All right, there's no such thing as extra ammo. It's just additional ammo. Okay. All right, so those are technology that's technology right there, making the magazines plastic. Next thing on my side here is my taser. Okay, this is the biggest piece of technology that we've gotten lately on our gun belts. All right, this is an electronic piece of equipment. When I turn it on, you can see the lights. Right now it is recording. My finger is not on the trigger, so nobody has to be worried about anything, but right now it's recording video and audio. Okay, so it's getting the exact thing that I am looking at, and it will put it on video. So if I'm out there engaging a person that I may need to use the taser, it is getting exactly what I am seeing, so that everybody can see exactly what I saw, and they'll pick up all the audio also. Okay, so that right there shows you what technology is doing for police right now. Once again, I've got the 2 lasers, so I know exactly where it's going to go. It is loaded up right now with 2 active cartridges. Oh, I turned it off, sorry. All right, 2 active cartridges that do arc like that. Okay. All right. 50,000 volts apiece. All right. But they are just volts. They are not amps. All right. If anybody in here knows anything about electricity, all right, it's. Oh, there you go. All right. So he knows. All right. So he knows that the volts are not going to kill you. It's the amps that actually kill you. Okay. This has absolutely no amps to it. It's got 50,000 volts, but actually it's like a 1/1,000,000th of an amp or something like that. So it's not going to kill you. It's just going to incapacitate you long enough for us to get control of it. Okay. So that's my taser. Enough of that, right? People get a little scared when I pull that out, but you should, because nobody wants to get hit with it. I don't want to get hit with it. They actually asked us if we wanted to when we got trained on it. Do you want to take a hit? I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm not taking 50,000 volts. Believe me, I know it works. I've seen it. So, all right, next is my radio. All right, back when I first got here, once again, we had these great big gigantic GE radios. All right, I mean, the thing was probably a foot long, and you know, it had this big antenna on it, and you know, it only had like 2 channels that we talked on. All right, one for the west over here that we call, and then we had the south station, and it was just 2 channels, and that thing was heavy. It was like 10 pounds, and we had to carry it on our belt. And of course, they were old, they were falling apart, and sometimes you had to sign them out. The batteries wouldn't work. So of course, about 15 years ago, I've been here 20, so yeah, about 15, 17 years ago, we changed over to these Motorola digital radios. The old radios were analog. You could pick them up with a handheld scanner that you see, like a CB scanner or something like that. These are now digital. They work off the 800 megahertz system. We are actually in the process right now of upgrading our radio system again, which is going to go to the next highest gigahertz, whatever you want to call it, type thing. But we're going to get new radio systems, because everything in technology, y'all should know, needs to be updated. Okay, everything, you know, once you get something, 6 months later, it's going to be obsolete. That's how it's going nowadays. So we need to upgrade just like everybody else. Next thing is I have a flashlight. All right. Who remembers the old flashlights we used to carry around, or saw police officers carry around? It was like this long, 6-cell D-cell batteries. I mean, the thing was like a baseball bat. All right. We had to keep it in our car, down by our chair, and hopefully you remembered to take it with you when you went on call. Sometimes you forgot. You had to go back to your car and get it. Now we carry flashlights on our belts, and this flashlight is actually brighter than that D-cell, that 6 D-cell battery flashlight that I used to carry. All right, and it's all been compacted down into this rechargeable flashlight, okay? No longer do we have to buy batteries. We just recharge it, plugs into our car, and we're good to go. All right. Next, handcuffs. Handcuffs are handcuffs. They're always going to be handcuffs. They're always going to be the same. However, you can look at old antique handcuffs and you can tell the difference the technology has brought, okay, from what they used to have to what we have now. Obviously, these, they look like what everybody's used to seeing, okay? You can get upgraded kinds that have, you know, anti-slip grip on them. Some of them are hooked together with chain links instead of a chain. Handcuffs are handcuffs. They're just made to control somebody's hands. All right, so there's not much to these. However, they are constantly being improved on. Some have different keys in them, so you know you can't just use a regular old handcuff key that you can buy in the store. They have little different locking mechanisms. Next would be this is my baton. Okay, when I first got here, we carried a big 3-foot long stick, call them a nadnock stick or something like that. And if you left it in your car in the heat, daggone thing would warp, and you come out and that looks like you got a boomerang hanging off your side. It was terrible. So they've improved on the police baton. Now it's called an ASP. It's an expandable baton. Okay, it comes out like that, and all I got to do is put it back together, and it fits on my belt. Okay, simple, but technology. All right, science has come up with these things, and it's helping us out every day. We already went over the gun. Next will be my pepper spray. Everything, you know, this, of course, the can looks like it gets all messed up or whatever. That's just because it goes in and out, gets, you know, nicked up. But still, this can right here, and believe me, I'm not going to shoot it because this stuff will tear the whole classroom up. It can fire off upside down. If I'm struggling with somebody and I'm on my back and I need to shoot it upside down, it will actually fire off. The propellant will send it out. It will shoot probably about 20 feet effectively in a stream, so I can actually stay away from somebody and shoot and spray them with this. This is supposed to be law enforcement grade, which means it carries a little bit higher of the pepper in it that a normal civilian can would, but believe me, the civilian can is going to do the same thing that this will. It's going to irritate your eyes, your mucous membrane, and it's going to basically incapacitate you. If you've never been sprayed with this, don't ever get sprayed with this, okay? All right? It takes about an hour for this stuff to even begin to wear off, all right? If you do happen to get sprayed with it, believe me, you're going to be crying and snotting for the next hour, and you're going to be wishing that instead of getting sprayed with this, you got hit with my taser, because that only lasts 5 seconds. All right. So, and then my most highly effective technology piece is this outstanding flip phone they give me.
I got the exact phone.
Yeah, do you really?
Yeah.
Math and science and technology, you guys are supposed to have the latest and greatest. So this is what they give me. All right. This is an issued phone for our sergeants because they always got to get a hold of me. But anyway, you know, 20 years ago, I didn't carry a phone around. I had no idea. Well, I mean, I knew what cell phones were 20 years ago, but I didn't have one. And they dang sure, excuse me, did not issue us one. All right. And if they did issue us one, in fact, our older phones, the first version, did not have cameras on it. This has actually got a camera and a video camera, so I can use it to videotape or take pictures of something if I need to. Has a funky little flashlight on it, you know, little features that a flip phone would have. Of course, I do have my own smartphone, and most officers do have their own smartphones that they use. Now, to my car. I have a nice 2013 model Ford. It's on a Taurus base, but it is not called a Taurus. It is called a Next Generation Police Interceptor. It is no longer the old Crown Vic tugboat that we drive around. You'll still see some of those, but we're going to phase them out. This is now a computer-run police vehicle. Everything inside is operated by the internal computer. It is a front-wheel drive vehicle. It has stuff like traction control. It has electronic stability control to keep you from spinning out at high speeds. Actually, you can't spin that car out at all. No matter what surface or road conditions you have, you're not going to spin that car out. It's like going from I tell people when they ask me, you know, how you like it, I tell them, I said, it's like going from a horse and buggy to a Porsche, all right? From what we used to have to what now I have that they give to me and I get to drive around all the time. So that's technology right there. So you can see how we try to keep up with society, keep up with the times. There's some other things in the car, you know, our radio systems and stuff like that, but the main thing, and I'll get to the main part, I don't know how much time do I have, sir?
Until 5.
Until 5, so I got about 10 more minutes.
Take the whole time though.
All right, the main thing that we have as far as technology and science goes is this thing right here that I brought in and plugged in. All right, 20 years ago we didn't have a computer in our cars or accessible to us at all. They were out there. I remember Fairfax County they had computers in their cars, but they could not take them in and out. It was mounted in there permanently. It was big old, you know, nasty machine. Had a little tiny 4-inch screen on there. It was green and black, and that was it. No colors, no nothing. But they had them. But of course now, as times change, we've gone all the way to this right here. This is my computer. This is our lifeblood. Every police officer needs this to do our job nowadays. If you were here 20 years ago when I was, and we didn't have the computers, or if the computers went down, it's funny, we make jokes about it. Us old guys, us dinosaurs would know how to do our job. We would know how to take a call, write it down on a piece of paper, pull out a map book and find it. The new guys that are coming out nowadays would be like, you know, when the computer goes down, they just freeze and they're like, oh, what do I do now? We joke about it, but that's how dependent upon this stuff we are. And that's how dependent upon this computer system that we are. As far as tempo goes, because we have adopted an intelligence-based policing, a little bit of that is the gathering of information from different sources. It could be citizens, could be victims of crimes, could be suspects, could be arrested people of crimes, could be tip lines that you know, like Crime Stoppers or anything like that. It's collecting all that information, plugging it into a database system, which is in the middle of the police department. We call it our case unit. It goes into that database, and then we have criminal analysts that look at it and they analyze all this data, they crunch all the numbers, they make all the maps, they put everything together, and they spit out what we call actionable intelligence. All right, actionable intelligence being, this is what we think is going to happen, this is when we think it's going to happen, this is where we think it's going to happen, and this is what we think you should do. They take all that information based on they take that intelligence based on the information that we gather, and they give it to our captains of our police stations or our districts. And they tell the captains, this is what we think you should do. It's up to our captains, who are the enforcement part, they're the commanders, to make the decision as to what we do. Then they'll send us, the foot soldiers, out to do it. Okay? That is intelligence-based policing in a very small nutshell. Tempo being our brand name, these are different things that we have come up with to assist us in gathering that information. Make sure I'm on track here. Once again, the computer system, everything we do nowadays is automated. Our police reports, our accident reports, we call them field interview reports, which is not necessarily an arrest report. It's just we had contact with this person, you know, for doing something that we thought was suspicious, and therefore we're documenting all that information. Everything is done on the computer now. Hardly ever do we put pen to paper unless we're just taking our regular notes, all right? Other than that, everything is automated. Everything is wireless. We can shoot everything all over the county, you know, based on wireless transmission, and we can also receive, obviously, from the wireless transmission. So that's that. To this, tempo, technology, enhanced modern policing operations. This is our technology enhanced for the road soldier, okay? And when I say road soldier, I mean patrol officer out on the street, the boots on the ground. Those are the guys that we depend on in the police department the most to gather the most information so that they can give it to the analysts who can analyze it and spit out actionable intelligence. So we need to make our patrol officer's job easier. So what we did as a tempo work group, and myself included, I'm the committee chair on this dashboard project. Of course, everybody knows what a dashboard is. Okay, knows what I'm talking about. All right. We come up with this program here. All right. We got with our county IT, our county information technology section. Said, look, this is what we need. This is what we want. We gave them all the details, and they programmed this entire thing. All right. So this is not an off-the-shelf product. This is not bought anywhere else and brought to us and plugged into our. They built and designed this whole program right here, what you're looking at, by themselves. basically coded the whole thing, wrote it all, and designed it the way we wanted it, exactly the way we need it. So to go through this, and I'll just show you some of the technical features. I mean, it still blows my mind. I don't know nothing about computers other than you turn it on. Go ahead.
How does this interact with other counties when you have to work together in the state?
Well, that's a great question because of privacy or security reasons that the state has, we cannot use this system to interact with them. So what we do is our case unit, our crime analyst unit, will take information from this and they will share it with the other ones via the Fusion Center, the state Fusion Center or whatever. And the Fusion Center would be a collection hub for all the different intelligence sections of police departments to give information, all right? So we can't necessarily share it from here unless I pull up next to a Hanover cop or a Richmond City cop and say, hey, on my dashboard here, it's showing this. If we need to do it formally, we would go to our analysts and we'd say, here, we need to share this information with Hanover, Richmond, whoever, and then they would send it out differently. So the information's here, we just can't automatically share it. We have to go through a third person or a second person because of the state rules and stuff like that. So if you look at this, starting off on the top, this is our where you see the 13 as a supervisor. That's where I go in and I approve police report. But they built that, they integrated our police report system into this dashboard. Basically what this dashboard is a one-stop shop for everything that we do. If we need to find something, if we need information on something, if we need a certain form or a report or anything like that, we go right to this dashboard and everything is here. Next,
real quick, so
yeah.
all the cop shows and stuff, they've got the lines of desks for all the officers or the captain and sergeants go to
Right.
do the paperwork, right?
Uh-huh.
This is where you do all your paperwork nowadays?
Yes, absolutely. And those rows of desks are still there, okay, just like they are in the show. However, each one of those guys has one of these, and they do everything on the computers now. They don't hand write it out. You're not seeing some guy sitting there finger poking at a typewriter anymore. All right, everything's done right here. We still have detectives. We still have forensics guys. They all have issued computers also. These tough books. The next, of course, is a bell. That's just an alarm bell. If something goes, if I need to be notified on something, it'll ring an alarm bell. Of course, my name and my picture, it's all integrated in there. When I log in, this is me. They know it's me. If I send an email out, if I send a forum post out or something like that, it's going to show it's for me. So we can't advertise barbecues or anything like that. So they're going to know it's me. I'm going through this kind of quickly. I don't want to keep you guys longer than you have to. The big thing that you see here is the maps. These guys, we use a county GIS system. All right, the county does have GPS locator systems. Each one of these computers has a GIS system inside it. So right now it's actually transmitting that I'm standing right here in this building. When I get a dispatch to call, I can just hit map, and what it'll do is it'll pull up a different map. I'll show you this different map here real quick. Right now it's plotting me at the high school right now. If I zoom out, I plotted this call, but if I all right, this is
What are the red squares? Are those your officers?
yes, the red squares and the green squares are our officers. You can see that. The green means that they're free. They're actually they're open to take a call. The ones that are in red means that they're assigned to a call right now. They're either on their way, they're either there handling it, or they're sitting under a tree somewhere finishing up their report on the computer. But they're out of service right now. The blue circles are actually our calls for service right now. So, and to show you how we get dispatched a call, we have computer-aided dispatch. This is what one of our calls actually looks like. This is showing me, I'm marked out here at this school to give a program, but what it does is it shows that I'm on a miscellaneous assignment. The priority is zero. We have 0 through 3. Priority 3 being our lights and sirens, hair on fire, screaming, hollering on our way to the call. The next one is the PD where it says 75. That's our service area. Right now we're in the 75th service area. Of course, the address, the name of the school, our cross streets. Sometimes you don't know exactly where the street is, but if you know a cross street, you can get there. My unit is 436. The time I was dispatched or on scene was 20 after 4. And of course my name, blah, 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 blah. All right, but if I go down to this map button right here and I click on map, what it's going to do is automatically plot this on the map, okay? And wherever I'm at, it will actually give me directions on how to get to that call. All right, so no longer do we have to have the little TomTom or the Garmin or anything like that in our cars. Our computer does it. It doesn't talk to us. We'll actually have to read the directions, but that's coming too. We do have a talking feature on the computer when we run somebody's license plate. It will actually read off everything that's coming back, the license plate, the wanted checks, the driver's license status and all that. It will read it off to us as we're driving down the road so that we're not staring at the computer trying to read it. It's telling us what we need to know. So there is a talking program. All this is being integrated. We are dependent upon our computer programmers, and hey, they're working like crazy. So, all right. Like I said, if I go back to the map and it'll show it plotted me right back at the school here. Gives me these locations that are nearby. If I was out on the street, it would give me actual directions, but since I'm already here, it's not going to. All right, we'll go back to this. This map right here is a map of the county. You can see. I'm going to open it up. I know I'm getting close to my time limit here. Sorry.
You're doing fine.
I'm going to open it up. It shows a map of the entire county. The map that these guys have designed these maps to help us out so much. All right, the DDAX, the data-driven approaches to crime and traffic safety. Basically, what that is it shows that your crime in your jurisdiction is relevant to the traffic accidents and traffic problems that you have in your area. All right, and that is, once again, in a nutshell, without getting into too many of the details. If you look at a map of your traffic stops and a map of your crimes over a period of, say, 6 months to a year, if you take those and then you overlay them, you're going to see that there is a direct correlation of where your traffic crashes and your accidents and your traffic stops are to where your crime in that area is. All right, criminals have to drive to and from wherever they're going to commit crime also. Okay, not everybody's on foot; they're driving too. And when they commit a crime, they're all hyped up, and a lot of times they get involved in accidents. Okay, and we may not know exactly what they just did, or even if they committed a crime. However, they're going to crash their car. We still have to go out there and work the traffic crash, so we're getting that report. So if you look at this map right here I brought up, this is my DDAX map. It only goes back a couple of days because there's so much data that working off of a wireless connection, I'd have to wait probably 20 minutes before everything downloaded, because we make so many traffic stops in Rifle County that there's just way too many. I can only go back about a day. But I'm going to zoom into it a little bit here so you can see what I'm talking about. The green bubbles are our traffic stops. The little blue bubbles are the actual crimes that are reported. If you look at them, if you can see, and I'll just show this spot right here, this T intersection. That's going to be 360 in Laburnum. All right, if anybody's familiar with Route 360 in Laburnum, as a police officer, I know that that's a high crime area. I may not want to say that too loud, but I do know that that's a high crime area. And you can also see all the green, all the traffic stops, okay? Some of them are accidents, some of them are traffic stops, whichever. But it's, once again, a direct correlation. Our guys actually designed this map for us after we went to the class and told them, hey, we'd love to have maps that showed us this. Well, they did it, okay? They actually built this map and designed it, whatever, so it does exactly what we wanted it to do. Other maps that we have, I'll show I'm not going to show the map, but I'll tell you about it. Warrants. Any active warrants that we have, people that have warrants on file, we're looking for them. They are wanted people. We want to arrest them. We can actually pull up a map and it will plot in our area how many people are wanted. Once you click on the bubble, it's going to tell you what the warrant's for, who it's for. It's going to pull up a picture of that person. Everything is geared towards the patrol officer, so that no longer does he have to start making phone calls. Hey, is that warrant still down at the at our jail? Who knows where it's at? Everything is right here. All you got to do is click a button and it pulls up all that information. All right, so that's the technology. Hazards, we have hazard messages on different addresses. All right, sometimes if you have somebody who is a little bit mental and they've got guns and stuff like that, as a police officer, I want to know that before I go to their house. So we put a hazard message on that house. All right. we have now a map that shows us all the different locations in the county that have hazard messages on it. And these are just, like I said, this is not an off-the-shelf project. We tell our technology guys, this is what we want, and they have designed it, coded it, and everything. So that's our mapping system on the dashboard. The next, of course, is our photographs. These are wanted persons, persons of interest, people that have committed crimes we're trying to ID. None of this right here is police or officer safety, law enforcement sensitive or anything like that. You can see these online, so I'm not showing you anything you can't see. But these are like the one, Jennifer Smith, officer safety. This is all public information if you fill out the proper FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request. It's all available to you. But that is going to give us up-to-date information of who we're looking for, what we're looking for, who we're trying to identify, who may be out trying to hurt us or anything like that. So that's giving us, the officer in our car, up-to-date information. The next thing we have is our forum subscriptions. What we did was, instead of using our email system, all right, everybody here probably uses email, we were getting inundated with emails, all right, to the point that if I worked 4 days on and 4 days off. If I took my 4 days off and never looked at my computer until that 4 days was up and I went back to work, I would come back and probably have about 500 emails. And about 2 of them would be worth reading. The rest of them was just junk, okay? So basically what I decided was we needed to be able to share information between officers without gunking up our email, because when you come back off that 4 days, I was just hitting the delete button. I wasn't even looking at the emails. I was hitting the delete button without reading it, and I probably missed some information or got rid of some information. So I came up with the idea of a typical internet forum. Everybody should know what an internet forum is. This is a way that police officers themselves, car to car, shift to shift, station to station, can share information in one central location and not lose it. It's always going to be here until the actual creator of that information deletes it because it's been taken care of, or it's been acted on, or it's gone dry. Okay, so we have subscriptions on the dashboard. These are the different forums that I like to monitor, but I will show you the actual forum, which is typical of a normal forum. So of course, if you've seen one, it's not going to dazzle you or anything like that. However, once again, this is not an off-the-shelf product. This is designed and programmed by our computer tech guys. Your typical internet forum, we set it up. Each one of our zones is our actual patrol zones. We have not 90 of them, but we have 10 patrol zones. We just call them by 60, 70, 80, of course. Then, of course, we have different forums for county-wide information, or you may have a station-specific information or something like that. Once you open up one of these forums, let's open up West Station. Of course, it's going to look just like another internet forum, all right, discussion forum. So this is a way that we can pass and share information, because that's, again, intelligence-based policing. We have to be able to share information. If I take information off of somebody out on the street, a drug dealer, a criminal, or something like that, and I hold it, it's not doing anybody any good. We're all out, all police officers are out for one thing, and that is to put the criminal behind bars. We're not out to get recognition, we're not out to get medals or anything like that. We're out to put the bad guys away. So if I hold on to that information, and the next guy comes on his shift, and he doesn't have that information and then runs into the same guy, if he gets hurt, that's on me, because I didn't pass the information. So basically what we need to do is continue to share information, and that's what we do. We share with other jurisdictions, we share with inside our department, inside our agency, to different components. Once again, shoot, I'm right at time. Am I boring y'all to death?
No.
Are you sure? Okay, good.
Who steals tires?
All right.
What's that?
Who steals tires?
Who steals tires?
It says tires from August tires.
You would not believe how many tires get stolen, okay? You would not. And, you know, and I don't mind telling you, you would not believe how many times more Cadillac has gone to work the next morning and found probably 20 of their Cadillac Escalades on blocks, and all their tires are gone. Their wheels are gone, okay? They're expensive, and they're easy to sell on the street, okay? And they're basically untraceable. They don't have serial numbers. They have lot numbers and stuff, but they don't, you know, more Cadillac's not going to record those lot numbers. So if they can get them off of there and sell them on the street quickly, they're going to do it. So yes, people steal tires. People steal anything that's not bolted to the ground, and if it's bolted to the ground, you give them long enough, and they're going to get it. Okay. So, all right. that right there, in a very quick presentation, is Tempo, is our brand name of our intelligence-led policing. This makes my job out on the street a lot easier. This is how I use Tempo. Different technology that we have in the law enforcement field. I'll go real quickly through different divisions. One, everybody knows forensics, all right? Everybody's been watching CSI or NCIS or all those TV shows. Forensics is where it at. Everybody, you know, they see these guys solve homicides in an hour. That doesn't happen, okay? But anyway, you see the DNA, you see the buccal swabs, you see the semen collection and stuff like that. That is all DNA, that is all science, that is, you know, everything they show on the TV show can actually happen. It just does not happen within an hour, okay? DNA will probably take a month or so unless somebody like the governor calls and says, hey, put a rush on it. Other than that, if it's a high profile case, it's gonna go quickly, kind of like the UVA student, I forgot her name, I'm sorry. Morgan Harrington, and also the girl that they found her remains. That case went quickly because it was such a high profile case. If that was just, I hate to say low profile or just a nobody case, I don't want to say nobody, realize everybody's a victim, is somebody. However, it's not high profile, it's not going to go as quickly, all right? They have, just like everybody else, they have assignments they got to do one at a time until it's over with. So it's going to take probably 8 months before we get results back on DNA. Fingerprints, same thing. We actually have in Henrico County our own fingerprint examiner, so ours go a little bit quicker. Someplace like, say like Orange County, small jurisdiction, they don't have their own fingerprint analysis, so they have to send it to the state lab. Guess what? Get in line, buddy. Okay, we'll get to it when we get to it. But our analysts or our fingerprint identifiers work in-house. They used to, you'd send them a fingerprint, latent fingerprint, we call it latent because it's left on something and we are lifting it off of that, so they call it latent. It's on a piece of plastic. They would have to put it down. In the old days, they'd have to make a tracing of it, okay, by hand. Then they'd take a photograph of it so that they could darken the lines. Then they would sit there with a little, you know, reticle thing on their eye or whatever they call them, and they would sit there and count the different points and all that, and it was very slow. Nowadays, technology has advanced. Now we have what's called a live scan machine, where they can actually take that latent print that we give them, they just take a digital photograph of it, they scan it into this live scan machine, and the computer actually plots all those different points, counts them, and it does it like that, okay? Because computers are fast, obviously. So it does it like that. Then the computer itself searches against the database, and it does this instantly over, you know, all the people that have been arrested in Virginia or even the United States. It'll link up to those different databases and run all those fingerprints. You've seen it on TV, shows it on there, flashing all those different fingerprints. We have that, it works, it does happen. The only thing we do have to have the human interaction to double check. Our fingerprint identifiers, once they get what's called a hit, they will then pull that fingerprint, they'll pull the person's fingerprint record, and they'll actually compare it by hand just to make sure, give it a double check. And most of the time, I don't think that the computer messes up that much. Sometimes it may, I don't know. But there's the human error there, or there's the computer error, and everybody's got a double check. So that's our fingerprint section. Forensics, I was going into forensics. They do the DNA stuff, they do the fingerprints. What else have you all seen on there? They do the black lights. I'm taking too much time. Do I need to wrap it up?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wrap it up. Any questions? Let me do that. Any questions? Technology-wise, as far as law enforcement goes.
Come on, guys, we're full of questions.
Go ahead.
What piece of equipment on like your belt or just that you use on a daily basis would you say is the most in need of improvement?
This phone. This phone. I use this phone more than anything on my belt. This needs to be improved. Other than that, like I said, 20 years ago, everything has been improved from 20 years ago, so I don't have anything on here that I think needs to be improved, or if I could, I would maybe say my flashlight.
Okay.
And it's only because my flashlight, they only last about an hour continuous use. If we're out there directing traffic or if we're searching for somebody in the woods, about an hour is good, is about all you're going to get out of it. Yes, ma'am.
Do you guys have any special features for the tough books that other counties don't, or other people who buy tough books don't have?
Oh, absolutely. I can tap into the state database as far as DMV records go and all that. So yes, we do have access to things that you guys wouldn't if you bought a tough book. Anybody can buy a tough book. It's just a typical computer laptop. It's just built to withstand bouncing around, dropping on the ground, maybe even getting wet. It depends on what we put on it and what we have access to. So yes, there are features I have that you couldn't, but if I was just gonna look for a computer, the tough book is the way to go for police officers, firefighters, first responders, because we're in and out of the car. Huh?
Maybe for high school.
Yeah, maybe. It would, you know what, I tell you what, we should go to the tough books for high school and middle school students. I see the way my daughter handles her computer. I shake my head every time she bangs on it. I'm like, that doesn't make it work better. Slamming the mouse on the table does not make anything work better. All right. Any more questions? I'm sorry I'm taking more of your time than I was allotted, but, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How long did it take to develop this whole system?
As far as the computer program that you're talking about, it took them probably about 6 months to develop it and build it. And of course, that was just to get it online. All right, we started it in about July, August of 2013. Yeah, we're in 2014. July, August 2013, we had to have it ready and presentable to our county manager in March of 2014. So they had probably 3 or 4 maps that were designed, ready to go. They had the form subscriptions and the form up and everything. They had it all designed and built so that we could present it to them and say, look, this is our dashboard, this is what we're going to. And now every day they continually improve on it. They continually add maps, they continue to add different links that we use. Every time we tell them, hey, we'd love to have this on here, next day we've got it. And that's how easy and awesome it is, because all we got to do is tell them and we get it. So, any more? I hope I did not bore you to death. I hope I gave you some information and showed you that in my line of work, as far as law enforcement goes, public safety goes, technology is key to our success in fighting crime and helping the citizens of Henrico County and any citizen in the United States. And I hope that you see down the road in the future there are opportunities for you smart people out there, because you're definitely a lot smarter than I am. I understand you're all into robotics and all that. That's awesome. So you're definitely smarter than I am. So instead of just putting the badge on, put the badge on and do something better. Okay? Improve on what we can do to get those criminals off the street.
Well, I'd like to lead the crowd and
wow, good t-shirt.
the 13 t-shirts. I might swap that out for a slightly larger size. I brought in a large, but I've got some others in my car.
Outstanding. Thanks, guys.
So, we will be having a big competition down at VCU come March. If you'd like to come down, we'd love to host you and take you around the Siegel Center and show you what our robots.
Yeah, if you send me an email, I'll make sure I put it on my calendar. As far as robotics go, let me add that, because you all are robotics. We do use robots in Henrico County. We have a bomb detecting robot and a bomb retrieval robot.
We'd love to see that sometime if possible.
That'd be awesome.
There you go. Hey, if you send in another request like you did for our emergency ordinance disposal crew, they will bring their truck out here and they'll let you play with it and everything.
Okay,
out in the
done.
parking lot. There you go. That thing is awesome.
We can have bombs too.
All right, I don't want to take up too much time. Parents may be waiting out there or whatever.
Yeah, that's